Good morning, everyone. Hey, it's so good to hear from everybody and to see you. And we hope that you're excited to join us here at Metro Staffing Services at our first Facebook Live of 2021. So happy New Year to everybody. My name is Melinda Torrison. I'm the president and COO over here at Metro Staffing Services. And we are so elated to have one of our foremost community leaders, Debbie Moseley, here with us this morning. So we are going to come together and just have a conversation and have Debbie share a little bit of her story and who she is. And it would be remiss to not share with all of you and let you know that she is actually our Pasadena Chamber of Commerce 2020 Citizen of the Year. So we have somebody famous with us today. So good morning, Debbie. And it's so good to have you with us this morning. Are you ready to sit back and have a conversation? Can you hear me? No, you can't hear me? Oh, okay. So technical difficulties. So do you want to call me, use your phone? Can you hear me now? You can hear me now? Hey, what would 2021 be like without having technical difficulties? We've just rolled over the calendar from 2020 to 2021. So what else is new? So Debbie, I'm going to give you a little bit of time. Okay, you're going to call me on the phone. We're going to go back to old method of trying to have a conversation and communicate. So awesome. Hey, this is what you do when you have to figure things out. So until Debbie gives me a call, just again, want to say Happy New Year to everybody. And of course, you know, down here at Metro Staffing Services and all of our offices from the Woodlands to Clear Lake to Deer Park and Pearland and all the territories that we service, we just want to say thank you so much to all of our customers and our candidates. We have numerous jobs that we have on our desk to fill. And so if you know of anybody that is looking for employment or looking for a career change and wanting to do something different, we hope that you would refer them to Metro Staffing Services. Of course, we have positions in the temp arena, the contract space, as well as our direct hires. So it's encouraging and exciting to see what's going on in the job market. And we hope that not only will you refer candidates to us, but if you are looking yourselves, please don't hesitate to reach out and give us a call. Our phone number in Pasadena is 713-941-0616. Of course, you can always go to our website and get all of our various offices, locations, and information. So, Debbie, can you hear me yet? Are you trying to connect on your phone?
I'm here. I'm here.
I can hear you. Oh my goodness. So it gave me time to just do a little commercial for Metro Staffing. So
Metro Staffing always needs a commercial.
Oh, so, but it's so good to have you here. Of course, you're the big Citizen of the Year, and you are just one of those mover and shakers in our community, not just in our community, our region, but the state and just on a national basis. So for those who don't have the privilege of calling you friend like I do, why don't you go ahead and share a little bit of your story, you know, who you are, and just whatever you want to share in regards to who Debbie Moseley is and what you do.
Okay, well, thanks, Melinda. Thank you for the opportunity, and good morning, everybody. So, I've been thinking about what to say because lately I've had so many accolades and people telling me how great and wonderful I am, and I think I'm really so humbled. I'm overwhelmed with what's happened to me in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But first I want to say that I'm a child of God, and that where I come from and how I ended up here at the bridge is a very long story. So I grew up in dysfunction, and but didn't know it was dysfunction. But looking back now, you know, it was like, wow. So I wasn't looking for what I stepped into. I think it was God opening a door for me to step into this position. When I started here, I started as a clown in the resale shop, as a volunteer with my mom and my grandmother, and I think what I found was my hope and my future and my passion. But I didn't realize it at the time, but he kept opening doors here at the agency. So I started in as a child advocate and opened our first child care center just inside of our old shelter, and just kind of, I'm very good at crisis intervention, and if you work in emergency shelter, you really need to be good at crisis intervention. So from there, it just kind of like skyrocketed. Every time there was an issue or problem, I was the one that would go take care of that problem, because I liked crisis intervention, and there's nothing that I can't stand up against that makes me go, ooh, wow, I can't do that. I'd rather do that than try to figure out a budget or how to pay staff or anything. I'd rather do that. So I think because of that skill, then I've become who I've become today. If that makes any sense.
Well, and you've become somebody great and wonderful. And I know there's not many people who say, I really excel at crisis intervention. But I tell you what, there's a lot of people who now realize after 2020, they're really good at crisis intervention. And
Right.
so you are one of the few that is really exceptionally gifted at that. So for those people who are online with us this morning who don't or aren't familiar with the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, why don't you just share a little bit about who the Bridge is and kind of give your why do you feel called? Why do you feel so passionate? And, you know, I believe like you and so many over there at the Bridge are just, you are truly advocates for so many. So why don't you just share a little bit about who the Bridge Over Troubled Waters is and the why behind not only you, but everybody over there, why you do what you do.
So the Bridge Over Troubled Waters is a crisis intervention agency serving Southeast Harris County. Our clients can come from anywhere in any state, so we don't turn around anybody because of their location. And what we mainly work with is domestic and sexual violence, including sex trafficking. So our agency started in 1985. I think 79 is when we were incorporated, and it was just on a prayer from two couples, and First Baptist Church got behind the Bridge and just kind of supported it. And so that's where the Bridge came from. And through the years, what we've done is whatever the client's needs are, we try to have that service for them. So if they need immigration issues, then we get an immigration attorney, or we have somebody in staff who's expert in that. If they need a job, then we use Better Staffing, or we have somebody inside who can help them, you know, with their resumes or budgeting, financial. So whatever their needs are, is we just try to meet everybody who walks in our door where they're at, and not put our values on them or what our hopes and dreams are for them. That just everybody has to walk in their own shoes, and we just want to be there beside them to help guide them to whatever success they deem is their success.
Yeah, you truly, I just, you know, for those who don't know or aren't familiar with the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, I've never seen a group of people who, like Debbie, just literally change lives, transform lives, save lives. And I'm always in awe and inspired by everything that you do. So, hey, I was going to tell you, you know, word on the street the last, you know, year was that Debbie Moseley is going to be retiring from the Bridge. So is that true? What does retirement look for you? Are you really retired if you like living in crisis management and solving all the world's problems? Why don't you share with us where you're at and what does retirement look like for you?
Well, I have retired officially at the end of the year as the executive director. I am now, I think my title is executive advisor. In my position here, as well as knowing people in our community and our funders, we're in the middle of a campaign, so I could not just walk away and expect it to be done, because people want to know that there's stability. And even though my replacement, Olivia Rivers, is going to be fabulous, beyond awesomeness and just great, I had to figure out a way to stay on. So talking with my board, we decided to keep me on for a year in an advisory role. So what I'm doing in my retirement So I did go to 32 hours a week, so I have slowed down. I'm going to start that really soon, too. Yeah, every Friday is my day off, but I like to work on Fridays. So I will finish our campaign, our Children's Center that we have started, and just having great success with it as well. I think during COVID, we thought, oh no, what else could happen? I mean, it's hard. It was hard enough during COVID just running the agency and keeping everyone here, staff and clients safe and free from COVID. But how do you raise money during that? But we were so blessed that it happened. We just continued on and doing our thing and writing grants, and we're 75% of the way done, so we only have 25% left. So that's what I'll be doing the next year. And then doing a lot of advising and mentorship with Olivia and other key staff here, just to make sure that our history is not lost, that where we came from is not lost, and everybody here has the same passion that I have. It's about that one individual, whoever that individual is that's sitting in front of you or that's on the phone, and about nothing else but that person. So just passing that on to everybody in a different capacity.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And I'm so glad you're not officially retired. I do hope, though, you take off a couple of Fridays throughout 2021, but because the community, people need you. And I so agree with you that, our history is so important that we have, in order to know the present and be able to move into the future, you have to know where you came from, and the history and honoring the history and those individuals. I just think is what God calls us to do, and to bless them. And so you truly are, you aren't just, working with the bridge, you really are, you're the bridge. And I can't say enough too about Olivia Rivers. For those of you who have not had opportunity to meet with her, you talk about a mover and a shaker and a passionate advocate. You want her advocating for you in anything that you might be going through. So you are just very blessed to have somebody like Olivia to kind of follow in your footsteps and to go and create her own journey and her own path forward. So, well, let me ask you this. You shared a little bit about kind of moving into your executive advisor role, trusted advisor. So you're overseeing this campaign for like a kids center. Why would a women's shelter or a shelter that helps individuals, why do they need a kids building? Why don't you kind of share a little of the backstory of how the bridge comes along and helps kids, and just kind of where they're at in that whole, journey of things?
I'd love to do that, Melinda. So when you think of domestic and sexual violence, you normally would think about a woman, right? Average age of 37 that comes in for help. But along with her, she brings children. And forever, for almost over 35 years, we have just been giving the services to women. My heart has always been for the children. It's always, I love the kids here. But I never understood the connection. So there were a couple of connections. The first connection was, oh my gosh, these are me when I was little. These little kids are me. So I got that connection recently. But more than that, there was and it's a very short story, but it's a powerful story that happened about 2.5, 3 years ago. I do prison ministry on the side because I love working with people in crisis. And in my prison ministry, I'm at a maximum security prison in Roche-Sharon, Darrington unit, and I work through Bridges to Life program, and it's a biblical-based program, and it's 14 weeks. So my first night there, I got up and told my story, and then there was a man that came up to me named Lawrence who said, "You won't want me in your group because you would never look at me in the eye, and you would never want me to tell my story, and you would never, ever, ever be able to forgive me because we talk about love and forgiveness." Mm-hmm. And so I said, well, what is your story? And he told me that at the age of 6, he knew he was going to kill his father for hurting his mom. And when he was 16, he did. He killed his father and 2 other men who had hurt his mom that he had seen. And so I asked him, whoever told you that it wasn't your fault and that you should not be thinking this way, and that it's not your responsibility? And he said, no one. And I said, well, whoever told you that they loved you? And he said, no one. And I said, well, you know what, my God loves you, and my God tells me to love you, so I love you. And we just had this great relationship. And I just thought about him, and he stayed on my heart for about, he's still on my heart, but really pressing my heart for months. And I didn't know what to do with that, so I didn't know why, but I didn't know what to do with it, and how I could make a difference. But about 2 or 3 months later, I was walking in our hallway here and I saw one of our volunteer managers was giving somebody a tour. And I heard this man say, oh, I remember when I walked through the halls of that building and how safe I felt. And so I just stopped and I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, I was there. He said, well, I didn't have to stay all the time because I stayed with my grandparents. I had other places to stay, but my mom stayed there and I'd come visit her, and we felt safe. And it also showed me that there were people out there who loved me. And that was Pastor Cavanagh who said that. And to me, at that moment in time, it was like those two stories clicked. And it's one had the prevention and education and the love, and the other had none. So how do we, as an organization, bring up these little boys and girls to let them know that it's not their fault, that they don't have the responsibility of their mom, that they are their own individuals, and that there's a better life for them than living violence. And so that's how we came up with a Bridge for Kids, because we want it to be just for them. We want them to know that they are in control of their future, and that we can lead, guide, and direct them in the way that they need to go. So that's how the Bridge for Kids started.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard you tell that story before. Let me ask you this. So real quick before we get to like the last question, for those who want to be able to give and to donate to this children's building campaign, who would they go to? Do they call you? Do they go to the website? How do they come alongside and partner with you guys to donate and contribute?
They can call here, 713-472-0753. Becky Kyles, Kyles, is our development director, and she's my team. So her and I are doing it together. So if you can just give her a call, our website, tbotw.org, is up and available, and there's information there too. Or just give me a call anytime. And we would love to have some committee members as well as the money. And it's not just your money in your pocket, it's the people that you know, those influences that you have. So that's what we need.
Absolutely. Yeah. And hopefully people realize too, so many organizations say this, it's not about, it's great if you get millions and hundreds of thousands, but it's that every dollar that everyone can make a difference. So, and I know there's so many that have been impacted personally, by going through this or knowing of people who have gone through it. And so, I just thank you so much for everything you've done and for this kids building, which is just down the street from our corporate office here at Metter. But one final question I want to ask you, Debbie, is what do you, if you had to describe this community, what do you love most about this community, this region, that you and I are so blessed to be able to hang out with good people and to work here? What would you say that is?
I think it's the connectiveness and the relationships. When I look at my generation, so your dad and all of those cronies, let's just call them that, all of those people that were influencers in Pasadena, and that how that has been passed down to the next generation. So it's all about relationships. And I think, our local government and our Chamber of Commerce, local businesses like Metter Staffing, industry, individuals, we all come together for the betterment of the city, which is the people in the city, right, and the people who live here and who work here and who go to school here. So it's about building those relationships, and then through those relationships, for so many of us, it's about the resources that come with that. Because I know without a shadow of a doubt, if I had an issue or a need right now, I could pick up my telephone and call and get it taken care of. No matter what level it's at or how big or how small it was, is that people feel really, honestly care and they love. There's so much love in this city. So, and I think that
Yeah.
just comes from those top people that are showing that to everybody else.
Exactly. Just showing up each and every day in the midst of crisis, in the midst of good stuff and all that. So, well, let me ask you, is there anything else that you would want to share before we hop off and get back to what we do? Is there anything you'd want to share with the group or the audience online?
No, just to say thank you and to shop local. Let's all shop local for sure. Let's support one another and let's support each other's businesses and each other personally. Let's bring everybody up and I just love God.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just like we've always said, through 2020 and definitely, in 2021 is you can't do this thing called life or business or anything that you do by yourself, that we are, and I think we've proven that we are so much better together. And so, Debbie Moseley, I just thank you, number one, for being my friend and for being an advocate for those who feel like they don't have a voice and just need help. And so thank you for being an advocate for children and for not retiring and just moving into an advisor role. And again, congratulations to you as Citizen of the Year.
Thank you.
You're truly deserving. And so it's been my pleasure to have conversation with you. And so tell everyone over there at the bridge, hello. And to all of you online, Happy New Year. And on behalf of Debbie Moseley and myself, we hope you have a great day. And yeah, just thanks again, my friend. And I will
Thank you.
talk with you later.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.